Hi there. Welcome to another edition of the Ask Dr. Jack Show. I am Dr. Jack Belitz, a chiropractor here in Omaha, Nebraska, and I'm here to answer the questions that you ask. Now, remember, the information I'm about to give you is coming from a chiropractor. It's not intended to give you medical advice of any sort. I'm here to present you information that you could easily get on your own, but maybe you just don't have the time or the luxury to find it. And it's information that you can use to make intelligent and informed decisions on your own health. Today, the subject is Alzheimer's. All right. We all know how devastating of a disease that is. I hear this all the time. Every week it seems like another patient comes in and tells me one of their family members is starting to suffer from it. I've got a couple of my present practice members that are dealing with it. It is not fun to be a part of when you see that happening. So when I find information that can lead to changes in the outcome of that problem, I try to get it out to you as soon as I possibly can. And this particular study was done, just blew me away. So let's get down and dirty with it right now. The topic, want a stronger brain? Try lifting weights. I know, it's crazy, but here's what the study shows. It was done in Australia. And it looked at 100 men and women with mild cognitive impairment. Now, what it means is that they did some testing on it, and they found a person who was suffering some impairment, but the impairment was not great enough to actually cause an issue with their normal daily function. Now, you may think, well, no big deal. However, if you have mild cognitive impairment, you have an 80% chance of developing Alzheimer's within 5 to 7 years. Whoa, stop the presses. This is important. Let's keep on understanding what this study has to say. Okay, so what they did was they divided these people into 3 groups. The first group, they gave a what they call progressive strength training regimen, which means that they put them on a set of resistance trainings, and as they got stronger, they increased the amount of weights and the number of weights that they were lifting. The second group of people, they had sit down and do some stretching exercises every single day. And the third group, this is what seems like it'd be the most important, they had them sit in front of a computer and do brain function exercises every single day, because everybody says that's the way you keep your brain sharp, is by doing these brain type activities on a computer, Sudoku, anything you want. All right, so they did these tests for 8 weeks, and then they looked at the results. Now, the results were based on 3 things. The first one was total body strength. The second one was a Alzheimer's disease assessment scale. And the third one was aerobic fitness. Now, you would expect that in this group of people, the strength training group increased in both the aerobic and the total training, and that is absolutely what happened. The other 2 groups, the sit and stretch and the cognitive, had no change in that whatsoever, which is, again, what you would expect. However, neither the stretchers nor the computer people saw any improvement whatsoever in their cognitive function. However, the resistance exercisers did. Now, if that doesn't blow your mind away, because it did mine, this really will. The greater your gains in strength, the greater the improvement in the cognitive scores. In other words, the stronger your muscles got, the better your brain function became. Wow. Okay, so there's a couple things that can, when they looked at this, they kind of figured out this is probably what's happening. The first thing is that your brain does not work on fatty acid things. So if you have fat and it's being broken down for energy for the rest of your body, the brain can't use that. So when you're using strength training, you're releasing a lot of glucose molecules. So those glucose molecules are not only there for the muscles to use, but they're also now available for the brain. So that would explain some of the cognitive function increase. Second thing is that when you are strength training, you're increasing the amount of blood going through your body all over the place because of what you're doing to it. So that also is going to increase the amount that the brain is getting. And so both of these things together really shed light on probably why we are seeing this this big change. Another thing that they noticed was that in people that are having cognitive problems, a part of the brain called the hippocampus seems to shrink. And if you do strength training, it can increase in size by up to 2%. So there's another thing that's going on there. So, really awesome study. I never would have thought strength training would have been a big deal when it came to mental. I would have thought for sure that the people that did the computer thing were going to be the ones that really came out ahead. But apparently, no such luck. So if you're thinking that you can just sit in front of the computer on your iPad all day and play games and think that you're doing yourself some good, guess what? Not the case. You need to get yourself to a gym and start doing some exercise. Now, what they did was these participants in the trial did at least 80% of their peak strength. So this is important because you don't want to just go to the gym and sit there and think that you're there. No, you've got to. So basically what you do is you want to find out, do an exercise and find out how much you can possibly lift. And then multiply that amount by 80%. And then that's the amount that you start lifting multiple reps of until you just can't do anymore. And you do that a couple of sets of those, and then you move on to the next exercise. So, this is not something where you're just going to be doing some, 5-10 pound hand weights and say, okay, yeah, I got it done, whatever. No, you've got to really push yourself. And that's part of this because that's how the glucose gets built up in the body. That's how the blood starts flowing. I mean, you're really kind of pushing yourself while you're at the gym. So all of this is really important. That's it. I hope you've really learned a lot because I know this particular episode, I learned a ton. I hope you have an amazing and happy day, and I will see you on the next episode of the Ask Dr. Jack show.